peace he gives those who trust in his ways. Hey there folks, it's Javier Blog 208 coming to you live again at 3:04 a.m. It is now time for my second video of tonight. It is January 30th, 2021. I made my first video of the night, which is kind of talking about past videos I've made that I've yet to post. Here I am on my second video. And tonight we're going to be talking about Joe Biden. Tonight we're going to be talking about Joe Biden's first, I think, week in office, week and a half. We're almost at his second week right now. So this video is entitled Joe Biden Good and Bad. So I'm reading this article right now. Biden has signed 42 executive actions since taking office. Here's what he has done. All right, so we're going to start with healthcare. He signed an executive order on strengthening Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Reopens healthcare.gov from February 15th to May 15th and direct federal... Whoa. So now I just realized this. He reopened... I didn't even realize healthcare.gov was shut down under Trump. I guess, he's trying to protect the Affordable Care Act. Sometimes, I guess, depending on who you are and how you see it, it kind of is, I guess it's a good thing that he wants to protect, the Affordable Care, because personally what I believe is that when former President Obama signed this, he signed this with good intentions in his heart. I know there's a lot of people out there who say, oh, he's an elitist, blah, blah, blah. He wanted to, it's about New World Order and all that stuff. And I think this was signed based on good intention. I don't believe it's perfect. I think there's flaws to it. I definitely don't agree with, extra funding to things like Planned Parenthood and all that. And extra funding for, just different, I don't agree with funding for Planned Parenthood or covering abortion costs or any of that. I will never agree with that. That's wrong. So we're gonna talk about one that he really did. He did something that I was not happy about. And this is one of the more recent ones, because I'm guessing the way we're reading this is we're starting from top to bottom. So we're going from recent to less recent. So we're going to start by talking about his executive order, rescinding the Mexico City policy, a ban on U.S. government funding for foreign nonprofits that perform or promote abortions. Yeah, Joe Biden, I don't like what you did. I don't like what you did here. It was not good. The memorial directs U.S. Health and Human Services Department to immediately move to rescind the Trump administration rule blocking health providers funded planning programs referring patients to abortion. Mr. Biden, this is throwing the good you did out the window. I mean, seriously, a ban on U.S. government funding for nonprofits that perform or promote abortions. In your heart of hearts, Biden, you even said it yourself that abortion is always wrong. You said it yourself. So in your heart of hearts, you know this is wrong. But this is just an example of you, and unfortunate, as somebody who voted for you, this is an unfortunate example of you trying to appease the far radical left. And it's just a disappointment right here. And really, it's a disappointment. It really is. Okay, so I really, it's a disappointment that you did that. And it throws a lot of the good that you already are doing out the window, because this is not something you needed to do. This is not something this is not something you needed to do. This is something that you did willingly, and it just was not good. Executive order tackling climate crisis home and abroad. Seeks to cement the climate crisis at the center of the U.S. foreign policy and national security. Most notably, it redirects the Secretary of Interior to pause on entering new oil and natural gas leases on public lands or offshore waters. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think that's a very good thing. Seeks to cement climate crisis as U.S. foreign policy and national security. It directs Secretary of Interior to pause on entering into new oil, natural gases, leading on public shores or upper. Essentially, I think this is going against offshore drilling. I know there'll be conservatives say, "Oh, this is costing jobs," but no, this is actually a good thing. It's protecting. It's protecting. Protecting our water. It's protecting. Things. It's helping our environment. I think there's positive aspects to this, but at the same time, the negative aspect will probably come from having to do with job loss and all that. Okay, national intelligence. Okay, there's more aspects to this bill. Instructs Director of National Intelligence, Avril Lanes, I don't know who that is, probably at a appointee, to prepare a national intelligence estimate on security implications on the climate crisis, and directs all agencies to develop strategies integrating climate considerations into our work, establishes a national climate task force. I don't know why. A national climate task force? What is that? National climate task force. So we're now going to have a national climate task force. I don't even think we had that under Obama. That's brand new. Commits to environmental justice and new clean infrastructure projects. Okay, I guess that's something I can support. Kicks off development of emissions reduction target. That's a good thing. Kicks off development of emissions. Establishes the special presidential envoy for climate on the National Security Council. What is that? This is new stuff to me. The presidential envoy for climate on the National Security Council. We have an envoy for climate on the National Security Council? What? What is that? Okay. Executive order on establishing presidential council's advisors on science and technology. Reestablishing the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology moving forward. The bill would advise Biden on policy that affects science, technology, and innovation. I guess that's good. I don't know. A memorandum on restoring trust in the government. So he wants to restore trust in the government through scientific integrity and evidence-based policy making. Okay, I can understand why he did that. He wants to restore trust in the government and trust in science. Something that was lacking in the last administration, at least according to him. Charges the director of Office of Science and Technology with responsibility in ensuring the science of integrity across federal agencies. I guess he wants to restore the trust in science and the trust in the government. To each be your own. I guess that's good. Could be good. I guess we'll see. Paris Climate Agreement. Okay. He rejoined the Paris Climate Accord, the landmark international agreement signed in 2015. I don't agree with that. But I know each to their own. Each to their own. I know there's people who I respect deeply who do agree with that. I don't. It's about globalizing, in my opinion, and I don't agree with the concept of globalizing the world. And it just ultimately is it's about form. It comes down to, in my opinion, not trying to sound like too much a conspiracy theorist here, but in my opinion, it's about, it's about globalizing, and it's not something I agree with because that's ultimately. So the Paris Climate Agreement, I think it's about globalizing. They say it's about global warming. I'm not really know that Greta, whatever girl from Sweden, she spoke up. I really think she was a puppet, pretty much. I voted for Biden. And I'm telling you, I think she's a puppet, and I think that the Paris Climate Accord is about globalizing. Exactly, and I think one of the things I think I supported, privately. I didn't really speak so publicly about it, but privately, I kind of supported Trump pulling out of it. I just see what happens. I think we kind of need to be our own country. It's kind of similar to what Britain did, with Brexit and Boris Johnson. And And I support Brexit. I think that Brexit's a good thing. It's a positive thing for Britain. It's kind of like allowing Great Britain to be its own independent nation from the European Union. I am putting a lot of lotion on my hands because we definitely need it. I definitely need it. Executive order protecting public health and the environment and restoring science to tackle the climate crisis. Cancel. Oh, this one pissed people off. Not me, because I kind of agree with this. I kind of agree with what he did here, but I know that a lot of people aren't happy about this. This one pissed people off. This is about canceling the Keystone Pipeline. Immediately I see a lot of conservatives screaming that he is destroying jobs, destroying jobs, destroying jobs. Well, look at me. I have been watching both sides of this for a long time. I mean, I knew people personally when I was in D.C. and Virginia and Massachusetts. Up here, a lot of people solidly opposed the Keystone Pipeline as it was like trampling over sacred Native American lands and contaminating sacred Native American waters, and it was an environmental hazard. So from the standpoint of it being an environmental hazard, I don't support the Keystone Pipeline. I don't. Personally, I don't. And I support what Biden did here. From the standpoint of jobs, I can see where people are coming from, But at the end of the day, if it's an environmental hazard, I'm not really for it, personally. I think that there's going to be a lot more jobs created and creating new stuff that's going to be helpful to the environment. So we got an executive. So our next one here is an executive order advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities throughout the federal government. I completely support this. I'm very, very proud of this one, actually. Executive order on preventing or combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation prevents workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Completely support it. Completely support it. I think he's doing the right thing here. I know what a lot of, conservative Christians are going to say it's wrong, He's doing the right thing. All right? In fighting discrimination, he's doing the right thing. Memoriam combating racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and the Pacific Islanders. Acknowledges the rise of discrimination against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the past year in the HHS, considering the best practices to improve cultural competency and language access and sensitivity toward APPI and federal government's COVID-19 response. I think this is a good thing. This looks good to me. I'm proud of what he's doing here. Combating racism, xenophobia, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Native Pacific Islanders. And I guess he's acknowledging, the discrimination against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I guess because a lot of them are being blamed for COVID-19, especially Chinese people. So I think that it is what it is, even though it did come out of China. I'm not denying that. I believe it came out of China, whether it was on purpose or accident. God knows. Came out of China. Executive order reforming incarceration systems to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities. Oh, I completely support that. Reforming our incarceration systems is something we desperately needed, and it's something we desperately needed for a long time. Memoriam on redressing our nation and the federal government's history of discriminating housing policies. How Department of Housing on urban development to review the Trump administration's regulatory actions for their fair housing and to take steps necessary to comply with the Fair Housing Act. Completely necessary. We definitely need that. It's the right thing to do. Memorial consultation and strengthening nation-to-nation relationships recommends federal agencies to engage in regular, robust, meaningful consultations with tribal governments. Totally support that. That's a good thing. Executive order on enabling all qualified Americans to serve. What? Wait. Let me see this one. Executive order on enabling all qualified Americans to serve their country in uniform. Oh, I see what he's doing. This was the reversing of the trans. I was like, for a second, is Biden bringing back the draft? No, I was wrong. I'm sorry, but that would be something if a president did that. That would be really something. And it's scary to think that that could come back at any time. Especially as we get closer and closer, to Christ's return, I guess, as you want to talk about it. Obviously, whatever that's going to be, no man knows the day or the hour. But anyway, we all see the signs. I guess some people are more hysterical than others. Some people believe that Biden is this terrible sign of the end times, and I don't believe that. But I do believe that the signs of the times are here. Executive order. Okay, so this was essentially the reversing Trump's transgender ban. I completely support that. I know that people are just freaking out about that, but I completely support that. I think that Trump's transgender military ban was discriminatory and highly was disgusting and discriminatory, and a big middle finger to those who serve their country in uniform, who are transgender. Obviously, a big middle finger to go out and make that sacrifice for your country, a sacrifice that I'm not even brave enough to make. For somebody who, I don't care who they are, whether they're trans or not, whatever, if they're actually going to go out there and put their lives on the line, they deserve the utmost honor and respect, and that's that. I think what Trump did was sickening, and I'm very happy that Biden reversed that. We're executive order ensuring the future is made in all America for all American workers. Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I think this is a very, very good thing that he did. Strengthens Buy America rules by closing loopholes and reducing waivers and granted federal purchases of domestic goods. You're the one that's saying that Biden is bought and owned by China. No, we're being separated from China. We are not getting closer to China. We're getting further from China. We're becoming closer. Biden is not a puppet of China. He's not that. And this proves it. Executive order ensuring the future is made in America by all American workers. That's what we're heading for. Made in America for everything. Obviously, I think Trump was very supportive of that too. So it looks to me like Biden and Trump are on the same page on that. Executive order protecting the federal workforce restores collective bargaining power and worker protections for workers and lays the foundation of a $15 minimum wage. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I now support that, even though I am very, very, very concerned about inflation. I am very concerned about inflation. I support that. When it comes to like the $15 minimum wage, I think we need to have a higher minimum wage for hard-working Americans who are getting out there every day and working hard. Of course, what I fear is the possibility of prices continuing to raise, the dollar continuing to inflate. I definitely find concern. Okay, we got executive order on economic relief related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Calls for assistance for those who are struggling to buy food, missed out on stimulus checks, and are unemployed. That is a very, very Christ-like thing to do, and I'm very, very proud of Biden for signing that executive order. I completely support that, and I think every Christian, every professing Christian, should support this executive order. Absolutely. Every professing Christian should support the executive order for those who are struggling to buy food. That's poor people who are struggling to buy food. Those who are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is helping people who are suffering, who are struggling, who are unemployed. That's a good thing, and I think every professing Christian should get behind that completely, as this is exactly what I see in the Gospels being reflected. It's a very good thing. I support that completely. Executive order on economic relief during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sorry, I already read that one. Pausing student loan payments. So there's a delay on student loan payments. That's a good thing. It's helping students who are struggling, because students are struggling too in the COVID-19 pandemic. Students are struggling too. Extend eviction and foreclosure moratoriums. Extending the nationwide moratoriums, evictions and closed. Oh my! This is a very good thing. Extending eviction foreclosure. Apparently, any evictions are getting extended. You don't, because of COVID-19. Obviously people aren't going to be kicked out of their houses or apartments because they can't afford to pay rent. That's a good thing. Proclamation COVID-19 related. Proclamation of the suspension of entering of immigrants and non-immigrants and certain additional persons who pose a risk of transmitting the coronavirus disease. Reinstate COVID-19 travel restrictions. Okay, this is something that conservatives were being very hypocritical about. Very hypocritical about. They're saying that Joe Biden, they're trying to take this and use this as proof that Joe Biden is racist. Nope. I am not for travel restrictions. I will tell you straight up. I am against the ones in Massachusetts, and I am against the ones, that are kind of being flung out, State travel restrictions, saying that you can't travel here, you can't travel there. I'm not a supporter of travel restrictions, okay? That being said, when it comes to the whole, this is about safety. From Biden's perspective, this is about safety. And he's essentially targeting high-risk areas. So what was going to happen? It was Trump was going to lift the travel restrictions on Brazil and the United Kingdom and Ireland and South Africa. Trump was going to lift them, I think, end of January. Biden said no. He reinstated the travel restrictions. And it's about, because he feels like the cases are still rising and getting higher, and we need to continue to protect our citizens. So I think I can respect, even though I don't really quite agree, I can respect that. So I think, and no, it's not racist at all. It's about protecting, it's really about COVID-19 at the end of the day. It really is. And I'm always going to support, let me just reverse what I said a little bit. I'm always going to support certain travel bans or restrictions, based on the safety of the country that they're coming from, And I'm going to be very honest about something. That also includes what Trump did. A little bit. I don't support a ban on Muslims. I don't. I'm strongly against that. But I support vetting people from high-risk countries of high-risk terrorism. And I think that they need to be, heavily vetted and all that before they are allowed to come into our country. Especially countries with high-risk terrorist, high terrorism risk. Anyway, I'm about to hit 25 minutes. Executive order on sustainable public health chain supply accelerates manufacturing and delivering of supplies for vaccination, testing, and personal protective equipment. All right, we're going to get to another topic here. We got a lot more to talk about here, and I think I'm going to save this for a part 2 of the video because this is already pretty long. A lot of these other executive orders are on COVID-19. A little bit on immigration, and we will get back to that on a part 2 of this video. So thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.